Hi, we're back.
Hey, how's it going, you guys? We had a little quick episode today. I wanted to talk a little bit about an adventure that I ran a couple weeks ago, and it was set in a library. So there was basically this big giant library in this elven city, and there was a reward for somebody, basically the way I was playing this was that this was this giant library that everybody's basically like the biggest library you've ever seen, right? Mm-hmm. And they had just closed down a wing of it, and they were like offering a reward for the adventurers to go in there and clear it out. And when the adventurers show up, the main librarian's just like, oh yeah, this happens. We have so many magical books in here. Like the magic escapes sometimes, or sometimes the undead show up, or you accidentally summon a monster. Every once in a while, we have to close down a wing, and we hire adventurers to go clear it out. Like it's no big deal, right? And
happens all the time.
Yeah. So the adventurers have to go in and fight these things, and basically they have to figure out what's causing the disturbance and destroy that monster. But there's a lot of other monsters in there that aren't related to it. That some of them are pretty powerful, and you don't want to mess with them. So I have them kind of going in, and what I did was I just printed out the layout of the third floor of the New York Public Library.
Oh, cool.
And I just wrote stuff on it, so I'll show that when we do the video.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, and so I had some cool little critters in there that I thought would be pretty interesting to talk about this week. So one of them was I called them reference gremlins. They're like little dudes about this tall, and they just run through and they just pull everything off the shelves and like throw it around, and there's some little little room where you can just hear them like cluttering around and flinging papers and books and stuff, and like.
I think I went to school with reference gremlins, actually. Several of them.
They'll attack you if you mess with them, but like they're not what you're looking for, so you should probably just bypass them. There was another one where it was like this demon that was in there, and he was just kind of like reading a book, and like he's basically just like, yeah, if you can talk to him, but he's just like this big demon guy, and he's like, oh yeah, nobody. I like it when it's shut down because there's not a bunch of people in here all the time, so I can come in here and read. There was a ghost librarian who goes around and puts all the books back, refiles them, and like she'll get mad at you if you try to mess with her, but she's not what's doing it either. What else did I have in there? I made a swarm of books, so like it's just this big giant pile of books, like flying, like a tornado of books that comes at you, and you have to fight it or run away from it or something. And so that was kind of a fun encounter. What else was in there? There was also a mimic, right? So you know them. It looks like a treasure chest, but it tries to bite you. Very old school first edition D&D monster. Mm-hmm. But I had them as books. So you would go to pick up the book that you think you need, and the book tries to bite you.
Oh, that's fantastic! I love it.
It's just like a mini version of the mimic because these guys are only like second level.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool stuff in there, and then. It ends up being some kind of like psychic slime, some kind of like, weird big like slimy blob thing that is like pulsating with energy, and is kind of just creating all of this chaos in the area, and they have to kill that, and they get the reward. But
excellent.
There were some cool traps. There was the trap that I'm always afraid of in a real library is when you go into like the big stacks that like they'll just squish on you.
Oh yeah,
A
little claustrophobic.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was one of the things you can go. There looks something shiny in there, and when you go in there, the stacks just kind of close and attack you, and you have to save to dive out of the way.
Love it.
The other thing that I thought was cool was I gave them a pretty powerful item, right? A pretty powerful book that had some good spells and stuff in it. Mm-hmm. But it only works in that library unless you can find a way to sneak it out of there.
Oh, interesting.
Because it belongs to the library. If you kill all this stuff, you can't just take the magic book out with you. You have to find some way to steal it or conceal it or,
Like that idea.
Yeah, because the librarian won't let you take it out because it belongs to the library.
Good idea. That's a good idea, too, limiting magic items.
Yeah.
Too. So if you give some, maybe it's pretty powerful, but you can only use it in certain little areas or something.
Yeah, we did that with the hedge mace in the Garden of Terror because it's powerful, but it's only good against the monsters in that dungeon. And it's still good, it's still +1 when you get it out of there, but while you're in there, it's like a +2 or a +3.
Excellent.
So
yeah,
I like that idea of giving the party powerful things, especially a low-level party who's going to get killed pretty easily. So give them something a little bit more powerful, make them a little bit more formidable, and then take it away at the end.
Yeah, give a limitation on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, it wasn't so powerful that if they found some clever way to steal it out of there.
It's still not going to be a Death Star.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice item. It's a little bit better than they should have, but I think they ended up like breaking open a window and throwing it out the window into the like lawn in the back of the library, and then going out the front door and then going around the back and trying to like find it before somebody else stole it.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. I put the. I don't know if we've aired this one yet, but we're working on this story about this magic item about a locked book that has the 3 locks on it, and they find that in there, but they can't take it out. It's like on a pedestal that's like alarmed, right? You can't take that out of there, but you can show it to them as a preview of what they're going to run into later.
Oh, excellent idea. Yeah, it's a good way to introduce things that you wouldn't normally see. I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. A library is different than down under a dungeon somewhere, You could have some, and I liked how you had a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was some cool stuff that you can put in there, and that's what another thing you can do is like I said, I just printed out a map of the New York Public Library and was just like, all right, this is a reading room, this is a bathroom, this is whatever, like you can kind of play around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is a room that has like old exhibits, or it was a room that had an exhibit in there about like the history of language. Which is pretty cool. So I just had it be about the history of the Elven language.
Oh, excellent.
It works, right?
Yeah,
it's easy.
it works.
Easy conversion.
Great.
So anyway, I just thought that was kind of a cool thing we could talk about this week. And
I love it.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with a full episode and paintings and all that stuff. So
Exactly. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.